Where to? Hello everybody, it's Mark Chalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and I'm sitting here with my service manager, Michael Marcella. We are extremely proud to present this beautiful 1939 Lincoln Zephyr Towne Limousine that's one of only 95 built for that model year, and this could be the only one known to exist. And better yet, this vehicle is selling with no reserve at the upcoming New England Auto Auction at the Owl's Head Transportation Museum in Owl's Head, Maine. It's selling on Saturday, August 26th. You definitely want to check this out. To start off this video here, this is non-rehearsed, so bear with me here. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note that I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. We are very proud to say that we're the only classic car dealership in the country that services every vehicle that we sell, and we document that work with an invoice. As an example, with this new binder that I've created, which I create for every vehicle, we actually have it first and foremost, the invoice for the work that we did. It clearly shows that we invested a total of $4,766.11 going through this new vehicle here for the new owner to enjoy. Once the vehicle is done in the service department, we thoroughly detail them from top to bottom. We spend countless hours, which is evident in the photos that you'll see on our website. Make sure to check it out at msclassiccars.com. I would also ask to check out our website completely, the inventory page, the sold page. We have almost 800 vehicles that you can reference. Again, do your homework on MS Classic Cars. So let's start off this presentation here. I'm going to read this from a description that I clearly have written. I wish I could memorize all these things about these cars that I have, but unfortunately I can't. So what I'm going to do is reference all these important items. The reason that Mike is actually sitting in here today is he was coming over to do a driving video in a vehicle that we have. He really, really loves this Lincoln Zephyr. I never will forget the day him and I went to actually go pick up the vehicle, and he started it and drove it around the guy's property who had owned it for many years. He pulled around, he was like, Mark, this thing is like, it's like driving a brand new car. It's nothing like you think, even though you go back almost 100 years of technology. It fires right up and it drives really spectacular. Can't say enough about that. So here we go into the description. This extremely rare 1939 Lincoln Zephyr Towne Limousine has been beautifully restored and is part of the MS Classic Cars No Reserve collection, as I mentioned earlier. Again, the bidding starts at $0, high bid wins. You can bid in person, you can bid online, you can bid over the phone. A total of 462 Towne limousines were built between 1937 and 1940. So Lincoln Zephyr, of the entire model run, only 462 were ever built. This example is one of only 95 factory-built Towne limousines for 1939. Now, a lot of people see a limousine, they think it's some type of a coach. This is not a coach. This was built exactly the way that Lincoln actually designed it. So let me show you here. This brochure, I actually have this. This is a like-new brochure for new Lincoln Zephyr. You will clearly see as you flip through it, here is the Towne limousine. What a great shot of the vehicle, the interior, and so forth. Really a special piece. Now, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, it could be the only one for 1939 to exist. In 1936, the Lincoln Motor Company announced a new motor car, the 12-cylinder Lincoln Zephyr, an idea and performance unlike any car the public has ever seen before. The Zephyr may justly be the slide leader of style for the era. As documented with the Henry Ford Lincoln automobile record, this wonderful example has an assembly date of November 3rd, 1938. So this was built actually before 1939 as a 39 model. Very common back in the day. It was built as a model style N6H-22 limousine and was body number 9. So what I think with being body number 9 is it was the 9th body off the assembly line, again, for the 1939 model year, which is a really cool thing. And it left the factory with a tan exterior and also a tan interior, and it had a list price of $1,700, if you can only imagine that. So I want to show you this binder that I have here. This is actually that information. I want to give credit for Toby Stinson. He's in charge of the Owl's Head Transportation Museum. He's the one that actually provided this for me. He did some research. Again, this is the Henry Ford deal here, which clearly goes over all the information I just rattled off. And then he also sent me this here. This is the Appendix 3, Lincoln model 1936 to 1948. It clearly shows you here all the numbers, the codes. It shows you all the production numbers. And I've highlighted this. You can see this in our photo gallery on our website, msclassiccars.com. Make sure to check that out. Again, everything is documented in this binder that is included. So let's get into the details a little bit of how I acquired this. It was built originally for a very unique customer who really desired the highest level of quality. From the information gathered, this example was built for Sergeant Lock family of Sergeant Lock Company, which actually was supplying the door locks for the Lincoln Motor Company. Very cool. Now that story that I just referenced actually was found in this car. When the guys were servicing it, Mike actually gave me this little note here that was actually written on April 2nd, 1997, and it tells the story of this particular car, which is included. That's also a really cool bit of information there. So, in the early 2000s, this example found itself in the hands of a very well-known Lincoln Zephyr collector who lives in Assonet, Massachusetts, and that's where it's been ever since. This example was the product of a complete restoration. The vision was to keep it authentic along with some of its originality. You will clearly see when you look at this vehicle and you start to study the nuts and bolts, it still has a lot of original equipment. Really important to know that. It's just a really special piece. The body is very straight. It's got beautiful gap lines throughout. It is truly rolling artwork. The hood, which I just opened a minute ago, it opens extremely smooth. The door shuts super nice, and the trunk lid closes nice as well. The body was refinished in the original color of tan, which I think dresses it absolutely beautifully. The paint was recently detailed to a show quality shine by the team at MS Classic Cars. All 9 pieces of glass were replaced new and are crystal clear. So the front windshield, the door glass, the rear glass way in the back, and also the split glass on the rear also is all brand spanking new. No corners were cut during this restoration. Everything on the exterior was restored or replaced, such as the wipers, the 3 mirrors, the hood ornament, the front grille, the headlight bezels, the headlights, the front bumper, the body side moldings, even that little lower molding that's down at the bottom, the door handles, the gas cap, the trunk handle, the taillights, the bumper in the rear, all the emblems. It just goes on and on. The car sits on 16-inch painted steel wheels that do have a chrome trim ring and nice chrome hubcaps. The wheels are wrapped with the Firestone Deluxe Champion 7.00 by 16 white wall tires. The 4 doors of this vehicle open up into this absolutely magnificent interior. You'll notice as I was going through some of these notes, Mike was touching things. This is kind of a vehicle that the more you look at, like the sun visors as an example, or the rear view mirror, you look at the dash, you look at this huge center gauge here, everything is just so tastefully really done. Nice. It really is way ahead of its time if you really think about how old this is. One of the Towne Limousine's unique features was the middle petition with the sliding glass divider. You have to check this out in all of our photos. This is a really cool feature. The level of craftsmanship is second to none. How they install this, it is like super solid, super nice. This is back when quality really mattered. It's all custom-made glass. It slides beautifully. If the passengers in the rear want privacy, most of these cars had drivers. You'll see in the brochure, there's actually a picture of a driver with gloves and so forth for the passengers in the back. Really cool deal. It's believed that this particular vehicle was special ordered with this unique weave broadcloth upholstery that is on the middle petition, also on the passenger door panels and the rear seat. The pockets on the middle of the petition are also unique. So if you go into the brochure and you look, it did not have a two-tone different upholstery in the front than it did in the back. It also did not have matte pockets. The little note that we found in the car said that they believed prior to the restoration being done, because that's the way it was when it was original, was it must have been a special order that that person I had referenced there, Sergeant, had requested when this vehicle was new, and that makes it really cool. So some of the equipment and appointments include 2 adjustable visor protectors, instruments arranged in a compact cluster on the newly designed control board for 1939. This is actually a new feature for 1939. It has a really large glove box, not only on the passenger side, but it also has one on the driver's side as well. You'll see that in all of our photos. The multiple ashtrays throughout. It also has foot rests that offer an extra measure of comfort for and relaxation for the people that are sitting in the back, which is a really cool feature. You'll see those on the back floors. The trunk compartment was nicely restored, and the light works automatically when it's opened. You'll see that in the Lincoln brochure of how they actually show when the trunk lid is open, that light comes on in the right-hand side corner. That light still works. You'll see that in the photos that we took. The spare tire actually swings out for easy access to the large luggage compartment. Back in the day, that's what they called it, was a luggage compartment. Once again, you'll see in the brochure all the suitcases and how they actually stacked them in there accordingly. Again, things were just definitely back in the day, and really cool when you start to think about how things were. Now, getting to the engine compartment. The engine compartment is very clean with many correct parts throughout. The black horns that are underneath the back side of the hood are really cool and definitely unique. It's really a cool thing to see them concealed under there. They are in working order. During the restoration, the original engine was replaced by the more powerful 292 4.8 liter V12, which is considered a post-war engine that was factory rated with 130 horsepower. So this actually has the better, more powerful engine than what it was born with. Still error correct in every sense of the word. The engine is completely rebuilt and it runs super, super smooth. The engine's coupled to a factory rebuilt 3-speed manual transmission with quiet, is it helical gears?
Helical cut.
Yeah, helical cut gears. That's, again, I'm pulling that information off the brochure. The power is transferred to the pavement through the rebuilt Columbia 2-speed overdrive rear axle. That's another cool thing if you use some homework on that. The undercarriage is also very clean, just like the engine compartment, with many correct parts throughout. The gear worm and roller type steering, hydraulic shock absorbers, and hydraulic braking system provide the ultimate driving experience. An original dealership brochure, which I just showed you, is included with the vehicle. Once again, it's been fully serviced and detailed, which we've documented with an invoice that is included. So that wraps the presentation up of the Lincoln Zephyr. Apologize if it was boring at times, but I just want to make sure we get as much information across to a potential buyer as possible. We would ask, before I go ahead and start it, if you have not signed up for the VIP email blast that we offer at MS Classic Cars, please do so. It's the best way to follow us. We have thousands of customers that are on that list. We would also ask that you follow us on all the social media networks. We are on all the platforms, and we really appreciate your interest. Again, I'll say it over and over, MS Classic Cars, we're not a big dealership, but we are definitely doing big things. Appreciate you watching. Thanks, Mike, for joining the party here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. With the flip of a switch on the steering column, I'm going to go ahead and push this button. If you think about it, back in the day, it's kind of a push start button that you see in new cars today. I'm going to go ahead and push this, let you listen how beautiful she runs. That's all there is to it. Fires right up, and I don't know if you can hear it in this video, but it's actually purring like a kitten. We appreciate you watching, and as always, rock and roll.